You're listening to the Local Earshot Podcast with your host, Jonathan Grissom. Let's talk about music.
Hello, everybody. This is Jonathan Grissom of More Bands Media and the Local Earshot Podcast, and I am here with an old friend, Brad Biggs.
Hello, everybody.
And he's out here representing 13 Step Tone Solutions and Kaser Guitars. How you been?
Oh, pretty good, man. Mostly just Kaser Guitars today, man. Like I said, I push their stuff first. You know, They're more established, and I signed on to be a brand ambassador. But if somebody wants a fully customized hand wound pickup, like I can do the job. But I tend to push Kaser stuff first. You know. But yeah, things have been good, man. It's trying to get this thing off the ground, man. It's trying to start a business.
Yeah, it's almost impossible.
It's quite a bumpy road.
Yeah.
Humbling, if nothing else.
Oh yeah, it will definitely like put things in perspective in life. On like, whenever, because when you talk to like normal people, I guess they call it normal, but you're standardized people that work normal jobs, and you tell them that you want to do something, and it's always like, oh, you want to become like what they said when we first started the show. Like it was like, oh, you want to become rich and famous, or you want to do this and stuff like that. It's like, no, I just want to talk about music with my friends, But a lot of times what happens is that those people, they'll tell you, like, let's say with my art stuff, they'll tell me, oh, just start an Etsy store. Like it's easy. Like you just go online and say, hey, Etsy store, there you go, it's Boom. There, but then they don't realize all the back office stuff that happens with business that the reason why they probably hate all that stuff so much is because they could never do it. Like they could never do it. Like,
I'm not sure I can do it, honestly.
I'm struggling.
That's what that's what I've said since really learning some of it is the first thing I'm going to do when I have enough income coming in to hire somebody is hire a business manager that does know all that stuff.
Yeah, and does all the paperwork. Does all the crap.
just handling your entry level single person LLC is you got to stay on top of stuff, and I'm not as good at it as I should be. Look, I got a good CPA now, and she's helping me out and guiding me how to do the thing. But honestly, with the way things are and markets and current events, we'll just leave it at that. It's like I'm not even sure how beneficial having an LLC in my position is, because like I said, I'm partnered with Kaser now, and that's kind of my priority. And I don't know. Well, I don't know. Just I'm kind of reevaluating everything.
Because you could probably subsidiary it under them.
Yeah.
And just like.
Well, and it's like
and then just get paid or just put it on 9.
Almost, it's almost like an independent contractor type.
Yeah.
1099 or whatever.
That's kind of what I am, on everything I do. I'm just an independent contractor. So
yeah, it's been a hassle, and like I said, I've been kind of looking at, and the way things happen with Kaser is it's a good spot for me to be in, just because, like you said, when people, if they want to criticize or maybe just they don't understand what all goes into it. It's, I kind of lost my train of thought there. I think I smoked too much of that vaporizer on the way up.
I couldn't even figure out how to set up the equipment right whenever you had me do that.
But it's so you kind of have to play a lot of cards, and you're trying to handle all this stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like I'm a musician. It's not what I do. It's like a passion. I'm a musician. An electrical technician is just what I learned to do to make money.
Right.
And so really it kind of, when the idea of even starting my own company came in, it was like, how do I bring those two things together?
Right.
And first I was thinking I would just do like setups and service guitars. I fucking did not like that at all. I love guitar, and I wanted to keep loving the guitar. And if if that was going to happen, I had to not look at another one for a minute. So then I went into maybe doing pedals. I was like, okay, I can, at the time, I think I was actually in tech school. I'm not sure. It was around that time. And I was like, I can do pedals and amps, service amps, and kind of got into the amp side of things, but the pedals was eye-opening because as soon as I started building pedals, it dawned on me that we have like two of the top dog pedal manufacturers right here in Oklahoma, with shout out to Keeley Electronics and Walrus Audio.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try and compete with that.
No, and they make good products.
Oh,
so,
Keeley's,
you can't.
Top dog.
Can't compete.
Yeah, Keeley is the man. He's the man. But then I got around to doing guitar pickups, and I thought, I think I can get into this. There's, it's super interesting, and there's a lot of dynamics to it. The way you wind a pickup, especially if you're doing it by hand, it can really, it can affect the overall tone and sound of the guitar. So that's kind of what I sell is, that's your first step of your tone chase right out the gate is your pickups.
Yeah. Your
pickups and your electronics in your guitar, and then your amp, or you have pedals and then your amp. And those are the main components of quote unquote good tone. But I first met Kaser when I was still doing the show.
Yeah, we interviewed them. We interviewed Ron.
Well, yeah,
Ron, and then
first.
he pointed us out to Kaser.
Yeah,
because he was working with them, like doing some marketing stuff or something for their guitars. Like he was doing something for them.
Yeah,
he was helping them out. I don't know if he still does stuff with them, but I know he's busy with his charity and everything else he does. I mean, he's a powerhouse of a person.
He's awesome.
So
shout out to Ron and TSF, and if you guys out there want to or are interested in a charity event or charity to get involved with, Ron helps out a lot of kids and folks that are less fortunate in getting instruments into their hands and helping them along with that. And we it was Ron first, and then Kaser came on with Ryan.
Yep.
And Ryan's the vice president, and then it was kind of quiet there for a while, and then I left the show, and we hooked back up at a charity event that TSF was doing. They have their annual, it's this big thing in Gaillardia, and it's this concert and dinner and all this stuff. It was really cool. And so I went in there. I was actually already kind of had it in mind because I seen that he was donating to the event, and so his logo was there on the brochure. So I was like, telling my wife, I was like, if I get a chance to talk to him, I'm gonna see if he needs like somebody to wind a guitar. And
I think that we had a, like, whenever we were talking, after we kind of ended that, that part of the show or whatever, like we were talking, and I had mentioned that I was like, well, why don't you reach out to them and try to set something up with that or whatever.
It was weird how it all worked out, man. I'll say, because when I got there, I shook his hand and everything, and he actually asked me before I had a chance to bring it up. I was like, all right, man, even better. But
you have to do the work.
Yeah, we got to talking, and then come to find out, his shop is about 5 miles up the road from where I work. You know, I do slot machine repairs as an electrical technician that I am. So we met up, started talking plans, what can we do, this, that, and the other, and here we are trying to sell guitars and wind up guitar pickups.
Then what? Because I think we kind of had a setup of how we were going about this. So I mean, like, what really goes into making one, like making a pickup and stuff? Because I mean, you have your metal, and then you have your wire and all that stuff, and then you got to wind it. So like, I mean, is it really simple, or is it's magnetics too, or is it like there's a lot to it? Right?
Yeah, it's simple in its process, but there's a lot of, you can really get lost in the minutia of it, because the first thing is the guitar itself, and like Kaser, for instance, we do full customs a lot of the time, but we have our house models. We have the main ones are the Phantom, which is kind of shaped like a Les Paul. Quite different than a Les Paul, though. We have the Phantom Junior. It's the same concept. It's a double cut, and that only has one pickup. That's a big game changer with those guitars too. We have a Talon, which is more like our Stratocaster style. Is that a dog barking?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh, that's loud. Sorry.
You might hear it inside the audio. I don't know if you'll hear it on the mics on the recording, but I know. We used to whenever we used to do this, like we'd have planes fly over. And we would just be like, I don't know if that's going to be on the mic or what. And then I go back and check the recording, and it would not be there. I'm like, these are really good mics.
Maybe we'll get lucky.
But I was hearing slightly in the background. I was hearing that machine that they got running out there, because they're building all this. This is crazy. Like this neighborhood, it's changed a lot. I haven't been over here, and I guess we were here like a few weeks back.
Yeah.
Or, about a couple months ago, maybe 2 months ago, maybe. And me and my girlfriend stopped off over here, but but even then I almost got lost trying to find it, because I don't remember what road it was on. I don't remember what your house looked like because of the fact that that whole back area that's past your house was not there.
Yeah.
Like it was just fields, and it had like a nice little view of like a forest and stuff, and now all that's gone. It's all homes.
Yeah, Norman itself is it's expanding far faster than the infrastructure, but that's a whole nother discussion. But anyway, we got our Talon is our Stratocaster style, and then we have our Explorer shape that's we call the Skyhawk. All of Kaser's products are munition Air Force type names, just as he's a Air Force, he's active duty Air Force.
Yep.
So it's kind of inspires all our models. But like take those for example. So our Phantom is our Les Paul shape. Les Pauls usually come with 2 humbuckers. You have our Talon, that Strats usually come with 3 single coils, but you can set them up however you want, and the sky's the limit, So when it comes to pickups, so I'm in the passive pickups game, which is basically your old school. It's a bobbin with a magnet and a copper coil that goes around, which if for anybody that electrical thinkers out there or whatever, that's basically an inductor. So you take your magnet, you put a copper coil around it, you're going to induce a magnetic field, and pickups that's what they are. So I don't really do the active pickups. I just haven't dove in and learned a lot about them. Those are like super high output. Those are your active pickups are like your EMGs, your Fishmans. These are if you listen to the Metallica Black album, that's the classic EMG sound right there. Super high gain amps, and you need a high output pickup to be able to handle that much output.
Yeah.
But I'm in the passive pickups game. I do single coils and humbuckers, and through Kaser Guitars we have sets of we have a Strat set. It's just Kaser's house set. We can play around with them a little bit, but I haven't really done a ton of single coils. We've done Telecaster pickups more than anything else, and even that I just wind to like most guys that do tellies. They like the 50s or the 60s kind of specs, so that's what I do. We did a job for Malcolm Boer from Blacktop Mojo as a kind of just a test and see what we could do, and I wound like a high output bridge pickup for him and just mailed it to him. And I was like, let me know what you think. If it sucks, just let me know. Don't say anything publicly, man. We'll get you fixed up. But he put it in his guitar, and he has been bragging about it ever since, man. I was like, he's like, y'all need to make this a line option. I'm like, we just might do that, you know. So it's coming along. Yeah, it's coming along. Our biggest business is in the humbucker world. Mm-hmm. We have low output, medium output, high output. For people listening, you know, what's the difference? Well, it depends on what kind of music you're playing. You know, if you're trying to get a pristine, clean sound, a clean tone, you're gonna opt more for like your low output, your PAF style pickups. Mm-hmm. If you're throwing some gain on it, you know, say like
how Cotton would play.
Oh, he's more in the high output range.
Yeah. He's like a turn into 11 on the amplifier type player. Yeah.
I'd say like if you're running like a 50 watt Marshall and if you're trying for like the Eddie Van Halen sound from that early Van Halen, mm-hmm. Your medium outputs is kind of where that's at. It's like your 12K to 14 and 15K. You get up over 15K, I'd say you're in high output territory, and that's more for like really high gain, high compressed, mm-hmm. That PV amp that's high output.
Yeah,
it's loud, it's aggressive, and yeah.
Is that the one that you played at the one Hollis event?
Yeah, I played
there.
Yeah, I played that through. I think the whole time I was with Hollis helped me hook that thing up actually.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I remember whenever you got that one because you were excited about it.
Those amps, man, it's that's one of my things with technology today, and especially when we were doing the podcast and you talk to different guitar players about their gear and all this stuff, and like some of these digital rigs are getting so good now that mm-hmm. it's pretty. I got to be honest, it kind of makes me jealous in a way, like to see a guitar player roll up to the gig with a backpack and his guitar and like nothing else. He's not breaking his back to lug some big fucking amp around.
And a lot of bands are being more that I've noticed, especially a lot of local bands, because they don't have the money or well, I guess they have the money for the good equipment, but they don't have the time to sit there and like bring in all these amps and all this stuff. And a lot of times, a lot of your bigger shows and everything, you notice all these big speakers and stuff, but a lot of it's hollow and a lot of it's not even turned on. It's just for looks. And, and a lot of bands are starting to be more honest with their audience. And so like they'll walk in there and do a show at like Blue Note, but they'll have like a little bitty amplifier instead of the big old gigantic amplifier, and people are going, how is that little bitty amplifier doing that? And it's like, well, yeah, it's a room size. Like, what do you, it's not, it's like, and also they have their own sound system. It's like, if you hook up that item to their sound system across the room, it's gonna, if you have a good room sound person, then yeah, you don't need, I mean, it does work for certain bands. Like you do need that stuff, like that bigger gear and everything, but I think a lot of it's getting smaller. Like all the gear's getting smaller because, and a lot of the, and then it's just so hard to compete with everything else. Like we were talking about before the show, like the whole, like a guitarist. I don't think that there's any replacing like a live show or live bands or bands. I don't see it.
In the age of AI, I think live music that from the artist, the actual artist, is going to become a extremely high value product. It already is, but I think it's going to get just absurd because
that people will pay real money.
Yeah,
because they
want something real.
Yeah, because you can pay a DJ to there's was it like a lot of times you hear inside the EDM world and stuff. A lot of them are making music with AI and stuff now. And like somebody will be like, oh yeah, I just gave all my music to a DJ, and it's like, oh well, how'd you make it? And they're like, oh, I use Suno. It's like, okay, like I get it if you're using it as a tool. Like to me, I have a bunch of music that I made, but it was all with loops and everything when I was a teenager. And I mean, it was used on Sony. What is it? Sony something. It was Sony Acid Music, and I mean, it's a software, and like they gave you a set of loops, and and then like you go online and find more loops and everything like that. And so I would make music with that stuff. But was I actually doing the production of music, producing the pianos, producing all this stuff? No. And so, like, I think that's the stepping stone of it. It's like AI is just basically like doing auto stuff on like looping and stuff that like already exists. It's taking from like all this different stuff and all these artists. But it's crazy. I mean, like I'm like I listen to a podcast where people submit music that they generate like that, but what they do is they plug in the episodes of things going on in the news and society and stuff like that into this software, and they say make a song in the style of this artist and this and there, and then suddenly it's like a 50 style song. And there was a song yesterday that I was listening to that was after this episode that I listened to that was like straight up like sounded like a 50s like a
big band.
Yeah, like a big band, but it was like but the singers were like it had like the little like girl singers and stuff, but they're talking about like, you know, war in Iran, and you're going you're listening to it going like, holy shit, like this is like really good, but at the same time you will never be able to see them perform unless it's like holograms or digital and something like that. So like I think that like you're saying, like I think that the value of a normal artist is just going to skyrocket after all of this, and the gear is just going to get smaller because I mean you know like they have pocket amplifiers now, and then they have that little amplifier that we showed on the show, the
Spark.
Yeah, those things are nuts.
Are awesome.
Like because it puts all the power in your hand, like in your phone, and you just have an app and you can just access all these studios and all this stuff. I'm like, it's just getting different and it's changing, but I mean, I think that's part of it, you know.
I think the recorded, because of AI, I think the record, and it already is being cheapened. It has been since Pro Tools came out, but that becomes cheap. Is the recorded product? Its value is going down because people don't buy albums, they don't buy records. But the need for that connection that a concert is, that live experience of I'm watching an artist perform something that they created. Mistakes are going to be made.
Yep.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Flat notes happen, you know, and then you're watching the artist performing away, and you don't think they know when they fuck up. They know. But it's like, okay, now how are they going to recover from that? And some of them you don't even notice. And it's like, that's what I want to see. And I fear that is going to become so, especially once you get record companies in on it, it's going to become absurd to go see a show. I mean, you always have the theater gigs and the smaller ones, but once you start getting into the 1,000+ seaters, or well, we're talking like maybe like basketball arenas, you know, 15,000, 10 to 20,000 seats. Some of those tickets now are so absurd. It's like we have to plan months ahead.
We're doing that right now.
It's crazy.
We're looking at because I'm a Weird Al fan. You know, people in the world know. You know, and we went to go see Weird Al at what was it, Lucky Star. It was fucking awesome, and it's like, but then now we're talking about, okay, what's our next trip, right? And so we're just like, okay. And then my girlfriend, she's a real big Al fan. Like, and what's weird is that it's almost like we probably do need to do it, because she pulled out tickets out of her pocket the other day. It was on Tuesday. It was on what do you call it? It was Wednesday. It was Tuesday yesterday. Yeah, no, sorry, over the weekend.
Today's Wednesday.
It was over the weekend. Yeah, it's Wednesday. Yeah, no, over the weekend. It was over the weekend. And we were doing stuff involving St. Patty's Day. And I said, and we were in the apartment, and we were about to leave to go do the stuff, and she said that she wanted to go see Weird Al, and I said, well, I go look up how much the tickets are, and she said, well, I want to do VIP, and I'm like, okay,
Ooh, okay.
but how much are the tickets? Because we have to figure out how long it would take to be able to, when these shows are. And as we go, tickets are going to keep going up. And there's a possibility it could end up sold out at the location. So then we have to look for another location. So we got to figure out what's the easiest, fastest way to do this, And so like she carries around like these tickets from one of his shows in her wallet. Like, and she pulled the tickets out of her wallet when she was sitting there, and she looked at the date, and it was that day, 26 years ago. That day, like that same date, 26 years ago, and we were like, okay, yeah, we probably need to go to this, but then we looked up the tickets, and for two people, I mean, and which isn't so bad for VIP, but it's like $800.
Yeah,
and for other shows. I mean, I got lucky. Like the veteran tickets thing, I tell, and I wonder if I could just like start doing sponsorships for them because I think I really believe in this program. But Vet Tickets is an app. It's a website. And they give tickets at discounts, like basically free tickets to veterans. And basically, what I did on there was I didn't know if I was going to get it. They have these things called tokens, and you kind of like you get a certain amount of tokens when you go to shows. Well, I got tokens whenever I went to Lincoln Park under them, and I went to the new Lincoln Park. I saw the new singer and stuff, but I've seen Lincoln Park 3 or 4 times in my life. So back whenever Chester was alive, and anyway, like so. 9 Inch Nails was coming through in Tulsa, and I decided to put in for tickets, and I put a lottery in. It was a lotto, and so like you could put in these tokens and not even get it. And I put 50 tokens into this thing, and out of 100 of the tokens I had, I put half my tokens into this, and I said I want 4 tickets. And it came back like 3 days later, and it was like, you won. And I was like, what? And so like, I'm thinking nosebleed seats. They weren't even that bad as seats, I mean, they were kind of high up, but for free, $16 for the print fee. Like that's what they call it, a print fee. It's all digital now. So, but $16, pay for the tickets.
Shit,
yeah.
man.
Pay for the tickets.
God.
Yeah. And then I went up to my friends. And they had seats that were in the same sections as me. And I asked them, because the floor seats were over $1,000. Mm-hmm. And I asked my friends, I'm like, hey, how much did you pay for your tickets up in the, where you're sitting? And they said, oh, it was like $200, $300 a ticket. And I'm like, oh, man, you don't want to know what I paid then, And they were like, why? And I go, because I did this veteran thing. And they're like, well, how much you pay? I was like, $16. Like, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, I don't know. I was like, they reward veterans, I guess. Well, but yeah, it was, but it's cool. I mean, it's a great product. So I mean, if you're any veterans out there, just look it up. Vet Tickets, like it's worth it. And then there's another Army one, and they just discount them. So like you can go through them instead of going through like Ticketmaster or StubHub or any of these companies. And you can go through this Army website and you can get them at discount. You just got to show that you use your government information or whatever to say that you're good to go, and then they'll allow you to buy them at discount. So they're not as cheap, but they're still cheaper than what you're going to pay at the fucking at Ticketmaster. But I mean, I haven't seen tickets as high as in the thousands of dollars just for a normal show here.
It's just unchecked greed. I mean, it really is, and it's yeah. It's gonna get out of hand. I have that fear with in the age of AI and seeing how. I mean, let's be honest. Some of those AI songs are fucking good. They sound good. They're pleasant to hear. And
I'm wondering if some artists, because they'll write lyrics and then maybe they're just trying to get a sound, so they'll throw something through AI. And then
using it as a filter is one thing, but using it to create, produce, and distribute, like, come on.
But I mean, if somebody takes their lyrics and they throw it into an AI and they basically say, like, produce a song that's, and they're a country artist or, like, country or whatever, and then it produces a song, and then they just basically redo it. In other words, they just take it back and redo it again, and then they start singing and stuff. According to a lot of the stuff online, they can't even claim that as theirs, because it can't be copywritten. So like there's laws on the copyright law stuff saying that you can't copyright this stuff. So it's like,
what a mess.
It's like, so does this person actually have the right or do they get half the money? Do they get the production rights because they wrote the music, or like what happens in that moment legally? Because people don't understand like the whole legalities of doing this stuff and taking from other artists and putting them in these systems. But then somebody's like trying to get a sound, so they're like, okay, well, how do I make my guitar sound like that? But then some artists, they're making music and they're working their asses off, and they're getting nowhere, and so it's like, what do you do in that world where it's like, because I mean, there's people that are literally famous singing songs that they created through AI, but they're getting in front of a stage, they're getting in front of a crowd, but they're singing music that literally AI created, but then they just turn around and they're the ones doing it, so it's like they didn't write the lyrics, they didn't do anything. Who gets the money from that? But they would, because they technically created it.
They would get a performer's royalty for performing.
Yeah.
But as far as on the creation side of it, what a fucking mess. Copyright law and the little bit that I've started looking at when we were doing the show seems like a fucking black hole. Whew. I'm glad I didn't get in the publishing game.
Oh no, it's hard to do episodes even on YouTube, because like you have to go in the back paperwork side, and you have to basically say like, the band that is on this episode provided the music that's on this episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, or if I do an episode where I play other people's music, like I did on the last one, a lot of times they'll go dark. In other words, it will just go blank and it will mute it. It won't get rid of the episode, but it will mute the music because it's copyrighted.
Yeah.
And then I call the artist and I say, hey, what can you do about this? Like, because I want people to be able to listen to your music, and them say, oh, yeah, I have no control over that. That's my publisher. That's my recorder. That's my studio that we go through. Like, and it's like, so basically you have gatekeepers making it where artists can't even approve shit.
It's gatekeepers all the way down, bro.
Like they can't even approve shit. Like an artist can't even be like, hey, like I made that, I'm allowing this person to use it. Like there's no publishing rights for podcasts, and there's no publishing rights for like creators and stuff. I did find a loophole, and I think I'm going to start doing it. But the loophole is that I wanted to start doing something that would actually get the show out on, other than just uploading episodes and like cuts from episodes on with that Opus Clip software that we were kind of playing with back then. And but basically TikTok has a contract with Universal, and they have a contract with a lot of the recording companies, and all these companies under the what do you call it, the people that run all the fucking contract or the licensing and all that stuff that you have to go through, like can't think of the names right now. Yeah, the publishing, the people that like, they'll walk into a bar and they hear a song and they're like, you didn't pay the rights, you guys owe us $10,000, for all this music that you played. Those guys.
ASCO,
ASCAP and all that. ASCAP and BMG or whatever the whole BMI. Yeah. And but like there's a loophole in the sense that they all have contracts with these large corporations, because whenever Universal did what they did, and they had to make a contract with TikTok, because a bunch of people were using commercial music on TikTok, and it like collapsed everything, because everything would just go blank. Like whenever you listen to you'd watch a video, out of nowhere all the audio would go dead, and it would be like a dance video. So somebody would be dancing, but there'd be no audio in the background because they cut the music. But then they redid their software, and then you could upload music to your video, but it's playing on a different channel. So what you do is that you make a flat screen. If I put like a local Earshot or whatever, and say, artist highlights or whatever I want to say on it, put their little album cover and the name of the song, and then I slap that, I find their song and I upload it with it, then that's legal. I don't pay royalties. I don't pay nothing. It's just like it will play through TikTok's stuff, and then TikTok gets stuck basically paying those artists and those things. But they also get that money from creators whenever you actually get to that level and you're making money. Like they pull all that money from all the creators, their portion of the game, basically.
What a mess.
Then, it really is.
What a fucking mess. Yeah,
I mean, that's why I say, like, you're kind of in a interesting, like better spot in a way because you're just focused on one little part of the game.
Well,
like and so it's like
you run into the same thing in a way because, like, for instance, we have our low output pickup is called the B52, but its mechanical specs are similar to the old Gibson PAFs. The Gibson PAFs, like the golden tone, that's the standard, the gold standard of vintage pickup sound. And every shop that winds pickups or builds guitars is trying to crack that nut on what's the perfect way to wind a PAF to get that sound. And that's our version of it is that. We wind ours by hand, which is different than the old Gibsons. They did machine wound on a lathe. We do ours by hand. When you do a hand wound style, it tends to give you a more top end, brighter end. When you're dealing with the scatter winding and you're constantly changing your tension as you're doing it by hand, for some reason, I don't have enough electrical knowledge to know why this happens, but it tends to give like a higher capacitance when it's all said and done, which for some reason tends to give you just a little more sheen on the top end when you plug it, especially on your cleaner channels. So those are super popular for that reason, and that's one of our things is like, where does Gibson PAF end and a Kaser B52 start? You know what I mean? Because you don't want to get caught up in shit like that where they're like, you're just recreating our pickup, but you know, it's from the 50s. The design is public domain, so you have to stay within certain guidelines, and then you have to call it something totally different. You have to you run into similar things with that, but it is when it comes to music publishing particularly, though, I'm like, with AI, like AI is not affecting guitar pickups.
Right.
But the publishing world, and it's just this wave of, well, who gets paid and the money that's generated off of it, where does it go?
Yeah.
It's
and I mean, and it's interesting too, because like I was watching this video about CDs and how like an artist back in the day, you know, they would sell 10,000 records and each record was $10, you know, and you had to put your best songs on those albums if you wanted fans to keep on buying your albums, because, and I mean, and people would buy them for the main songs, but then you wanted to make sure that they would like all the other songs. Like you were saying that, you know, record companies were kind of like a buffer, you know, to stop all the bad music coming through. But now that what their argument is that they're pointing out that the money side of it dried up whenever like things like Spotify and that started doing the things that they do and how they handle it, because they keep the majority of the money that comes from subscriptions and then their percentages that they pay artists is so damn low that like one song you have to have like 1 million listens to make $1,000. And it's like, but if back in the day, if I sold 10,000 CDs at $1, I would,
singles,
you know, I mean, I had 10 grand, you know, it's like if I sold them for $1, you know, I'd make money. But like, and that's why I think that you do see artists doing that. Like, you know, you see them going back to that world where they're still selling. I mean, even big artists are still selling their CDs at their shows. And so, I mean, and like a lot of times they'll offer digital versions of the songs with the CDs. Now they'll have like MP3s on them and stuff, but
I've seen an uptick in vinyl.
Yeah, that too.
Vinyl's becoming a thing again, and no complaints here. I love a good album, but man, and the thing with record companies is like that's why I fear things are gonna go the way they're gonna go, because they're already kind of balls deep in the artist with these 360 deals, and I mean those are at the higher when you're doing bigger business, but I just, on principle, it's very difficult for me to sign over a third of shit that somebody didn't even help me achieve, you know, a third of my merch, a third of my ticket gross for like, what? No, you gave me money, fronted me money to record the record.
Yep.
Now it's your job to fucking sell it. The
Yeah.
rest of that, like, what? No.
Yeah, no, and that's kind of what they want, and so a lot of times a lot of artists don't even do it no more. They just go out on their own. I mean, that's basically what is it, Dirty Honey?
Yeah, they're a good band.
Yeah, they are a fully. They're doing something in the music industry that no other artist is doing, and I studied them in ACM when I was there. That what they did was that they read the books, they read all the music books and stuff that I've read and other people have read, and they were like, why would we sign with a record label? They ain't doing shit. Like they were like some record labels do, and they go to bat for their artists and they do all the work that they're supposed to do. But a lot of times they're like, well, I can hire a photographer, I can hire a merchandiser, I can hire a manager, I can hire these people. So what they're doing is they're building teams of people that work directly for them instead of, hiring a record label, which is a middleman, to have somebody sitting there that assigns all these people to these people and stuff like that. And so and that's similar to like what I was talking about with more bands, where it's like, I just, it would be good if it's like an artist management firm where you just offer them the things that they need. You don't offer, you'd be like, hey, we got these set up photographers available, and then they just pay us a fee to be able to do the work, to be able to be on that list of people that they have access to. And it's like, or you can assign management based on the music that they like and things like that. So then when your manager gets, you're not just being assigned some random manager. You're getting assigned a manager that's like, dude, I love techno, or I love rock, or I love rap, but a lot of times that's what it is. It's just people, they don't have the money to do it. And a lot of times, and then sometimes they're young, and you see a lot of documentaries on this stuff about there was the Backstreet Boys documentary about Lou Pearlman, which is a piece of shit, and like these people, but like they came to them and they're like a golden goose. They were just like, oh, they're talented, they're a golden goose, so they're like, they go to them and they say, I'll make your whole career, and then they fuck them. I mean, that's that, and
sometimes literally.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's the thing, is that there were stories in that documentary where some pop artist would get told by him, go to this office in England or Europe or whatever, and basically you're gonna do what I tell you to do inside that office for that recording thing if you want this deal. And it's like, what the hell? What are they doing? And that kind of put a wrench in me, because when I started learning more and more about the industry, the larger industry, I'm like, do I really even want to be a part of any of this?
I think,
but I think focusing on just
everywhere, man.
Yeah,
there really.
But
is.
I think when it comes down to it, it's like, yes, because we want to be the side that changes how these things how people are being treated in these environments, and and how things are being handled. But and that's why I do like the hyper local stuff. I like local distributors. I like people that do things like what Kaser's doing, because it's not. I mean, everybody can go buy a Strat. I think that there's something to be said about that like somebody walking in with something that's custom, that, because then they're like, where'd you get that? And
it's one of the back and forths that we constantly have, is how do we build intrinsic value? Because when people, and for a custom made guitar that can do all the custom fretwork designs and all the different paint jobs, and go to the website and check it out, or the socials probably has more updated pictures. Kaser Guitars we're on all of them as far as I know. Our bidding usually starts around $2,000, and usually doesn't. I haven't seen one exceed $3,000 yet.
Yeah.
And it's for that reason, is we're trying to get them out so we can get people playing them, we can get the name, the reputation going, because the feedback we've gotten has been good. You get some more critique, you just try to, you don't get lash out or get pissed. You just try to learn from it, you know, make it right and whatever, you know. But that hasn't happened more than a couple of times.
Yeah, that artists come to you and like have issues or whatever.
Yeah, and you know, like with the demo stuff, like I've mailed out some demo humbuckers to Malcolm with Blacktop Mojo and another cat out in Missouri named Clayton Ray. He's with Chrysalin Arthurs. She's a Oklahoma artist. Pretty sure she's Oklahoma, but yeah. Check her out if you see her, and I think she plays Beer City often. She'll come down here and play the deli from time to time.
Okay.
So yeah, but I send those out to those guys it's for free. I want you to take them, put them in, go on, play some shows, go on tour with them, beat them up a little bit. And if there's something that you don't like about, I'll actually in some ways like that with demos and prototypes, I want to hear what you don't like more than what you do.
And some people they just don't want to be like rude about things, or they're trying to be nice about things, and they're thankful that you made it, but then at the same time it's like, you know, like, I'd rather you be honest like you know, than lie about it, like be like, oh, it's great, and then truth in their head they're like, man, I absolutely hate this thing or something.
Yeah, and the criticism and critiquing, you know, is, you don't have to. It's there's a way of that engagement that I think is lost in a lot of the modern way of engagement. You can tell that just by how people engage each other online. They don't bring that energy in person. They rarely, if ever.
No. No, and that's the thing, you know, it's like people will say and do anything online, like, but when you get them in person, it's like they kind of back off a little bit on what they're gonna say or do. So,
but yeah, man, it's the guitar world is. I mean, I think I'm kind of where I should be is with guitar pickups. Like this is my third year of doing pickups, and it's my second year with Kaser, and when you start getting things going and you start changing dynamics, and like I bought these 2 winders here, and I have a manual for hand winding, and I have a excuse me, a CNC for machine winding. So people are like, you know, what's the difference? And I'm like, it's whatever the customer wants. And usually if somebody orders a low output, a PAF style, a B52. We do those hand wound because, like I said, when you constantly change your tension and your scatter wind, for some reason, it just adds that little pop. You know, it just I don't know. There's something about it. But if you're going for high output, the goal at that point is to get as much copper in that bobbin in between that space as possible. And when you hand wind, you're constantly changing your pattern. It fills up quicker. Yeah, takes up more space. So if I can program that to your side lay and your speed and feed and your tension is perfect, you can get some higher output stuff out of that. Yeah. And so it's really whatever the customer wants.
And like whenever you're doing custom stuff like this, do you think that like someone like me, like I have really bad arthritis and stuff like that, does that stuff play a role in like have you noticed any changes in like how your hands are now, or
No, I don't even think it's as hard on you as say even playing guitar.
Okay.
But yeah, cuz you're kind of just guiding the wire and you're just slightly holding it, and when you're doing a hand wound, you're looking down this.
Yeah, because it's spinning.
Yeah, you're looking down. You can see where it's filling up, and you're trying to keep that as even as possible. And then once you lock in and learn your style, then when you start testing those pickups, you really can start to hear the difference. Like you can hear a shitty wound pickup. Yeah, that's what I also tell guys too when they buy the hand wounds. If it's a turd, just let us know. We'll mail you another one, because sometimes it just happens with hand wound pickups, and I can test it all electrically. My resistance will be on, inductance is good, capacitance is good. I mail it, And if it sucks, it's just like, I don't know. Sometimes it just happens.
Can like weather and shipment and movement on it
For sure
like affect it?
Yeah, humidity. Well, we pot our pickups too. With vacuum pot, so they're pretty stable. But the thing that gets a lot of guys, and this has happened recently. Well, not recently. It's been a year now. A client of ours went on tour, and they went through West Texas in the summertime, and the trailer got, blazing fucking hot.
Yeah.
All the wax actually melted out of the pickups, and it was running down the body of their guitars and everything. We're like, oh shit. So yeah, we did have that one. So.
Wow. How the fuck do they play shows in certain states then?
It gets hot.
Yeah, it gets hot like that.
It's hot. I never even considered it, but that is a possibility. And so we're looking at, for situations like that, we're looking at like maybe some type of an acrylic or some hardened something we could do to offer people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. We're not.
Yeah, I
we're
don't
not
even
there
know
yet.
if you could do that with resin or any of that kind of stuff because it's
something
hard material. So
yeah, but yeah. Outside of that, man, we're just. I got 2 prototypes working right now under the Kaser flag. Under my thing, I'll do custom wines if upon request, but I tend to not. I tend to try to push them towards a Kaser just because we've done them long enough now. We got our style down on them, and I don't know. It's just like I can just knock them out. So
yeah.
But if somebody, if they come to me and they know exactly what they want, and they know the resistance they want, they know the style and all that, I'll work with them.
Right.
And guys can order through. We're in 2 stores on the north end of everything in Edmond. We're in Brand's Guitar Works or Brand Music Works. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think we interviewed him.
Yeah,
too.
we did.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was in his old shop at that point, and he's moved into this new place. It's it's called Fretz Drive. I'm like, that's perfect.
He's still got that machine that he's talking about, that guitar machine.
Funny story about that old Plek machine. When I first got hooked up with Kaser, we went up to Brands to I don't remember what the order of business was, but something Kaser and Brand had worked on, and they were meeting about that, and we went up there and looked at it, and he was talking to us about it. That Plek machine was the old Plek machine that used to be here in Norman at Norman Music, and then that store closed. So now it's there. And he was like, it's out of commission, it's doing this, that, and the other, and not working. So we're like, well, I might, I'm an electrical guy, and Jeremy fixes airplanes, and maybe we can at least get it working. So we came up there the next week, packed some tools, and gave it the old college try, and it worked. It did 1 guitar, and then it fucked up, and it ain't worked since.
Oh damn!
So, and it's old. They don't service those models anymore. Even the Plek company.
Yeah, that's what he was saying.
Yeah.
It's a rare product.
So I had an idea in mind. I was like, man, if I could get a hold of some investors that would be interested in helping finance, between the 3 of us, we could put guitars through that thing to maybe keep it working and whatnot. But I think it's about $350,000. So, yeah, I don't have that much collateral. So,
yeah, I don't think none of us have that much money to just drop on a product like that.
But at the same time, I'm confident that if we could get it in the shop and running and working and programmed, we could keep it running.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those Plek machines, man, when players know that a Plek machine is up and around, they're gonna take it in there. They're awesome.
Yeah.
And
because I think the other option is to like do it by hand, like you have to sand it down and like check it
and a fret level job like the hand jobs, but the jobs they do by hand, those are fine. But typically the thing with the Plek is it laser measures, and it does each fret individually, and it does it by the string and how it resonates, and by the time you get that back, it is fucking cherry. And I had an old piece of shit Squire Stratocaster that for when that Plek machine was here in Norman, I had them run it through that, and dude, that guitar played better than any of the Fenders I had. It was a $99 special. You okay?
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. I was like stretching. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, that's an idea. I would love to see if I could do something like that. But man, it's a lot of money and a lot of everything. And but for now, I'll wind you up a guitar pickup. If you guys are interested. Some of our clients that are kind of out there now that these are for the guitars and the pickups. I guess the biggest name going that people would recognize would be Co Wetzel. His band's been with Kaser since before Co. I think he was with them before they were really even playing theaters.
Yeah.
Because Kaser's from Texas.
Right.
And I know we did a build for Mason, the bass player, right as I came on board with Kaser. It was a few months after that. We went and seen him play the casino and delivered it. And I was like, that's pretty fucking cool, man. When they're playing on a big stage, playing a guitar that,
Yeah, it's like that
awesome.
the time that you built that guitar for Them Evils.
Oh, yeah.
It was like a really cool little thing to do. Just go out there to the show and...
Speaking of them, they're Kaser guitar guys now, too. Jake, with bass player, we built him this hot pink V, and we went back and forth on that thing, designing it and everything, and when guys come to us with a custom order, what we'll do is we'll do a rough estimate of what you want, and then Ryan, our VP, he's got this computer program where he'll graph it and it draws a 3D model, and then he'll spit out like 5 different colors or whatever of that model, and by the time that we have it figured out on the drawing and you say that's the guitar I want right there, the one you're gonna get's gonna look damn near exactly like that. And so we went with Jake. We were drawing up all these different V's. We had the big shark fin, the 80s metal kind of. We had the traditional V's, those big wide fucking things. And finally we settled on this kind of cross between them. And I was expecting to hear him say, like, I want it like black with a, maybe sparkle burst in there or something rock and roll.
Yeah.
And he hits me with, I want it like Mattel hot pink. I was like,
It's like a flamingo guitar.
Yeah. I was like, what? I mean, all right, man. It's let your freak flag fly, brother. We'll do it. So we found this hot pink color and we did it. And I didn't get a chance to fly out to LA to deliver it to him in LA. I had to mail it. Something happened. I can't remember what exactly it was. But first we were going to meet him in Dallas. They were playing a show, and we had car issues getting down there on that one. So then I was like, fuck it, I'll just fly out to L.A., buy a seat for it.
Yeah.
And something else happened. I wasn't able to do that, but I mailed it to him, and then I was able to see him play it in Vegas in like February or March. It's been about a year.
Yeah, I remember you going on that trip.
And then Jordan Griffin, he's with a new band called American Monster. Y'all go check them out. They're definitely a heavier, more of a metal band than Them Evils. Them Evils is like more rock and roll.
Yeah.
But I don't know their status. Are they still active or not? I know Jake's on the road all the time, and Jordan's hooked up with these guys. They got some killer tunes. I think the band leader is a guy that worked with Falling in Reverse at some point, and I think this is his new project.
Oh, okay.
So I can't remember the guy's name. But yeah, check them out. They're pretty damn good. Anybody in Oklahoma probably knows Blacktop Mojo, rock and roll band. They're kind of on the up and coming. They do. I think they can headline like theaters, but you'll see them on some festival playlist or billing and stuff like that. They come through and play like the Shawnee Theater. They'll play in Tulsa, the Diamond Ballroom, kind of those size places. They got killer tunes, man. And Malcolm, he's a guitar player. They got 2 guitar players, and Malcolm I don't know who reached out to who, but we ended up building them a Phantom, and then I've been sending them guitar pickups to test for me. He's like my little lab rat. So it's a lot of fun though, man. It's pretty cool. And it's nice when you get somebody who's like a pro. Like these guys are touring, and I want to know if they hold up. How do you do that? You got to get them out there. Guys in Oklahoma, this is an Oklahoma guy, Josh Malloy. Not Josh himself, his guitar player, Eric, used to play with Cam Allen.
I know that name.
Yeah, he's out of Moore or Norman, I can't remember, but young guy.
Yep.
He's kind of up and coming too. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've seen him a few times, and he's got some tunes, man. And then Chrislyn Arthurs, we had Clayton, her guitar player, and Jared Flushy. He was with I can't remember the name of that dang band. Giovanni and the Hired Guns. They had a radio hit here a couple years ago, but rock and roll band, So that's it's always nice to get those pros, and you can kind of say, "Oh, look who we're working with," and that's cool,
right?
But
it's like in the realm whenever we were doing the show, and like even when I'm doing the show now, it's like if a fan blows up and becomes famous, then pretty much I could be that guy that's like, "Oh, well, we interviewed him.
Look who I know."
Yeah, at least I know. I interviewed him, and so it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool to be able to say that, and on some of these artists, because some of them have went places, and and I'm still talking to them on a regular basis. Some of them.
Well, it's you start to you just learn that these guys are just people, and they want gear that when they're on the road is reliable and it sounds good and it can do it night after night after night. And that's what I try to provide. I don't try to blow smoke in a lot of guys' asses when it comes to trying to sell a guitar pickup, man. The tone debate, to hear it can drive me nuts, man.
Yeah.
You hear these salesmen get up there and say all this bullshit fluff about what makes tone and this, that, and the other. And then it's like, it gets guys so far off the trail that they're trying to mod and change things that don't really have so much of an impact. But then it's like you mentioned something that has a major impact and they just brush it aside. It's like the tone wood debate for an electric guitar. I've stopped debating it. Like if a guy comes to me and talks about how good it sounds because of the wood it's made out of, I'm just like, I'm happy for you, man. We all want good sounding guitars. Yeah. But it's
like if you take a body of an act guitar or something, and if you throw like good pickups in it and a good neck, then you basically have the same thing as what Fender makes.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Anything.
Yeah. Any of their lower Fender models, because that wood frame really doesn't do much other than its comfortability of way you hold it and everything. It's not really a factor in the sound part of it.
Dude, there are people that will die on that hill, and I'm just not prepared to have that level of thing. So I just kind of let that one go.
Yeah, I think the tones of like acoustics is more like that's the difference. Like the wood and the stuff that they use in acoustic guitars is way different than electrics.
That makes a huge impact. Yeah. But electrics, no. And the bridge material, the scale length matters. Mm-hmm. Obviously, your guitar pickups, your strings. Old strings sound like shit. Most old equipment can sound like shit because it's old and you need to, set it up. Mm-hmm. But your guitar pickups is primary number one. one of the biggest impacts for your personal tone. Then you have your whole circuitry that goes into you can throw capacitors on your knobs. You can do all kinds of stuff with the circuit. And then from there you go into your pedals, and that's a whole nother bird's nest of tone and changing. And then from there you go into your amp, and then that's a whole nother level. There's so many layers to the tone onion.
The tone onion. That's the name of the episode right there.
There you go.
Tone onion.
But that's where I am with tone. I tell guys, like, all right, if you're playing through a clean channel, mostly, like say you're playing mostly country and rock and roll, I can kind of guide you where you want to be. And if you're into the death metal, heavy metal, high gain, loud amp, I can kind of guide you where to go on that one too, get you fixed up.
All right. Well, we're at an hour and 5 minutes. Do we want to wrap it up? Do you want to talk about anything else?
No, I'll just close it with saying that we have a website, but our store, I think it crashed at the end of last year, and Ryan, I'm not sure where he's at with getting it back up.
The website?
No, the store on the website.
Oh, okay.
But you can still order from Kaser. Just get on our socials and send Jeremy a message, and we can work it out. If you need an invoice, if you whatever, we can work with you. But you can also order them in store. Brand Guitars in Edmond, he has a rack he's got some in stock, B-52s, Warthogs, and I think he's got some Telecasters in store. And in Moore, you can get with Isaac at Sooner State Music, and he's got some too. So, Kaser Guitars, check us out.
All right. And as for the local Earshot podcast, I work on the value for value system. That is time, talent, and treasure. If you are wanting to support the show, then definitely listen to these episodes. If you want to be on the show, then reach out to me at john@thelocalearshot.com. And if you want to donate to the show, there's usually a Cash App link inside my show notes. The website I'm still working on, trying to get that back up and running. So kind of probably the same situation. I had a website crash. So thank you for listening.
See you guys.
Later.